Wonderful people, welcome once again to Application Moment. This is an initiative of the Transformation Center, that's CCC Kumasi City Mall branch. And what we do here within this moment or within this time is to ask questions based on the sermon that was preached by the head pastor, which is Pastor Emmanuel Abaje. And for whatever series he's taking us through, if you have questions as members, as individuals, we ask within this platform, and then he would get the time to address. And also in the same light, we also tend to ask members how they are applying these word that they heard from the man of God in their various daily lives and how it's beneficial to them. Now, in the current series, what we've been dealing with is the 4 kinds of people, and Pastor has thrown more light on it. In the first part, we looked at seeds. In fact, the whole concept of the 4 kinds of people has been centered around this parable of Jesus in Matthew 13, where we're talking about the seeds that the sower sowed along his way. And some of the seeds, the first type of people are those who fell on the bare ground. And these are those who do not have an understanding of the word and so are unable to fulfill their purpose. And then the second kind of people are those who fell on the rocky grounds or the rocks. And these people do not have enough roots, and so they are unable to stand the test of time. Now, in the third part, which we are looking at, the seeds that fell on thorns. And these are the ones who, after receiving the word, the cares of this world or this life, the pleasures of life, and then the pride of it, pierce through the words and then allow them not to bear fruit. Now, in this third episode, or in this third series, the second part of it, which Pastor was throwing more light on, has been on the traps to visions and purpose. Welcome once again to this wonderful episode, and I hope you would enjoy from the question and discussion session we are going to have now. So I would also entreat you, if you are new here, subscribe to our page and then get more information. Click the notification bell, and then also we entreat you to share it with your friends, with people in your network, and let's spread the word of God abroad. Thank you. You're welcome once again. And at today's application moment, we have with us the head pastor of CCC Kumasi City Mall branch, the Transformation Center. That's Pastor Emmanuel Abaje. Pastor, you are welcome.
Thank you.
And also we have with us a member of the church, in fact, a very astute one who is committed to the calling. He's in the person of Mr. Edmond Intwi Shepherdson. Yes, sir, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so we delve into what we have for today, which is based on the sermon that Pastor preached, which is the traps to vision and purpose. I'd first and foremost would like to ask, this will go to Pastor first. Maybe how do you discover purpose? In fact, in the past episodes, we've been talking about purpose, what it entails, what it is. And some of the members would still want to know, how do you discover purpose?
Well, purpose is the pivotal part of everybody's future. I mean, so if you want to really discover your purpose, one of the most essential one is you have to make a decision for searching for it. Proverbs 25 verse 2, he said that it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but it's the honor of kings to find it out. So purpose is discovered. You need to have the mentality of searching for what purpose God has for you. Number 2, you have to pray about it. You have to ask God. David said, God, teach me to number my days so that I can apply my heart to wisdom. So, first of all, it's through a discovery. Yeah. Number 2, you have to pray. And God should help you understand or know your purpose and understand it well. On the part of discovering it, like I said, God always conceals things. He said, no eyes have seen, no ear has heard, neither has it entered the heart of man what God has purposed for anyone who believes in God. So it's a concealed thing, and he doesn't hide it from you, he's hiding it for you. Because if everybody knows that you are going to be very rich, of course, they are going to become your friend instantly. Or even that is the positive side. When people get to know your purpose, they can terminate it. Like what happened to Jesus and Moses. If the If the wise men had not seen the star about Jesus, many children would have been alive. Because someone saw Jesus' star, and saw the purpose, though they didn't understand it fully, they could interpret it in a particular level, that there's a king that is born. So the king, Herod thought there's another king who's going to replace him. So he has to end it before it starts. Like any other business. If you are coming up and they see you are a threat to a substitute, then they have to work something out to take you off. So that's why God hides it. So it's also part of your assignment to discover it. In that process, you have to ask God for it. You have to tell God that, God, let me understand my purpose. Number 3 way is that he's going to direct your path anyway. If you, all you have to do is to go by the word of God and do it. The other fourth thing that I believe, Proverbs 20, is said that the thought in a man's heart, the purpose in a man's heart is like a deep water. It takes a man of understanding to draw it out, or a man of insight. So as you grow and you are educated, when I say education, I'm not talking about class. As you go through a lot of things that you avail yourself, you begin to understand it. That's what the Bible says, count it all joy when you go through diverse temptation. One of the reasons that convinced me that I'm going into ministry, when I look at my life, I'm into bivocational. So I'm a pastor. Well, should I say bi or try? Or I'm a pastor. I'm lecturing, and I'm also a business person. Lecturing was not part of my radar, but because lecturing came in as a result of my background, my education, and all that. The other one as a business has been something fundamental to me. I've done business on my own for a long time. But when I weighed the two, I have been involved in church for more a prolonged period than being in business for that same period, for that same reason. And not only that, I have done ministry more deeper than I have done business. I've gone on missions. I've been in mission field for 2 months, 3 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. I've done that. I've been on mission field quite some time. I've been with the Great Commission, and I've done evangelism, discipleship. I'm a trained missionary. Then I've also been in the theology. I've done theology, MA theology. Unfortunately, I want to even do a PhD in that. I have desire for that. I've been an usher in the church. I've been a youth leader. I've pastored a church before. I've GAMSU president before. I've been involved in church planting. So most part of my life, I've been doing that. So the question is that, with this kind of insight that I have, should I use it to go and sell tomatoes? So I thought of it, and prayed about it, and I felt that God will not bring me this far and taking me through all that just to go and sit in the market and sell. So there should be something to it, and that is all coming together to make me make a decision that I want to be in the ministry. Because that is the inspiration. I've done a lot in church. I have been trained as a missionary. I've been trained as a pastor. So what do I use it for? It doesn't mean necessarily that if you have that, it means that you should go and be a pastor. But the second thing is that even if it's ministry, what kind of ministry is also another person. So that is where my other parts of the thing, that is why in strategy, if you want to really carve out a mission, a purpose, we do situational analysis. You look at your enablers and you look at your challenges. You see, someone who has lived, I know someone who had lived in multiple countries, can speak multiple languages. Of course, such a person can better serve in certain areas to fulfill certain things better than someone who has not had no experience. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Yeah. So the core of a purpose, like I said, purpose is not all those things like profession and all those kind of things. They are something that God has done for you, or God have carved for you to fulfill your life. It's an assignment on your life. It's an assignment. Should I say it's an assignment on your head? That in this life, this is what you are going to do. And you can use any platform to fulfill it. But the kind of platform you use is also another conversation you have to do. But you need to do a situational analysis. That will inform you to do that. Look at David. When David met Goliath, David said to Saul that I have killed bears, I've killed lions. So Goliath is a mincemeat. You know, David learned to lead as a king, not when he became a king. He had already done a lot of things. And so that suggested to him. And David said that I have perceived that I have been made a king because of the people of Israel. So he knew his purpose was because of the people of Israel. He perceived it. That, oh, why would God take me through all this thing? Took me from the miry clay, set me on the throne. He had fought a lot of battles. How do we know that David had fought a lot of battles, has led well? It's because the servant who recommended David to Saul said that this guy is a man of war. He says he's a man of war, he has wisdom, he plays music skillfully. So all those war and all those things were not his purpose. But they were things that is required to be a successful king. Yes. So those are the things you may have to do to discover. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty loaded, and I believe it brings a bit of clarity to the members, their minds, and all. In fact, there was a key point you made in there about, I think it relates to Proverbs 3 verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your understanding. And even in purpose, you're saying we should trust God with our purpose. Yeah. And that as a key way of even identifying what, let's say, the purpose is, and then also identifying the drivers to pushing that purpose to its end. So then I would like to ask from Edmond.
Yeah.
So maybe if you want to throw some light on that.
Whilst Pastor was talking, he made mention of like doing situational analysis, and I think that's when like you have the experience. Maybe you've gone through that, and you do those analysis. But my question is, in case probably you discovered it at an early age or something, how do you, fulfill that? Yes. Yeah, thank you.
So when you are fortunate and you discover your purpose early, that's amazing stuff. Like what Proverbs 8 said, that he who seek for wisdom early shall find it. If you find it early, it's amazing. To train up a child the way he should go. So what you have to do, number one, you have to find a mentor. Yes, because you need a mentor.
Okay.
Things that will let you fulfill your ministry or your purpose is mentorship. Look at Samuel and Eli. Samuel was called to be a prophet. It was a purpose for him. So the mother, who had made a pledge to God, had sent Samuel to the priesthood. But Samuel went there as a young person. He had started, but he had not been able to know whether he's a prophet or not. He thought he was going to be a priest like Eli. Because Samuel was the last of the judge and the first of the prophets. So Eli mentored him to hear God's voice. Because prophetically, you should be able to hear God's voice. So when Samuel heard, somebody said, Samuel, he went to Eli. Eli said, I have not called you. So go back to bed. He went again, came back and said, you called me. He said, and God called the third time. And the Bible said Eli perceived that God wanted to talk to him. Though, you see, there are people who are not heavyweight champion. You see, so the number one thing that makes people fail in their purpose is lack of mentorship. The more you are talented, the more you are gifted, the more you have found your mission, the more visionary you are, the more mentorship and training you need. It's one. Number two, you need to develop the skills. If I know I'm going to be a pastor, why should I go and be learning football? I have to learn the craftsmanship of pastoring. I need to get a heart of a pastor. I need to now be educated. I need to acquire the necessary skill so I can do it. Number 3, I need to get tools. All the necessary things. Like, let's say somebody who have discovered want to be politics, will be into politics. Then it means that now you need to get a mentorship. Because you've discovered that, okay, maybe I can be a president in the future. So why don't I start getting the mentorship? All great leaders were like that. They all got mentorship. Mentorship is first 2, you have to get the kind of skill. You need to get the knowledge, the requisite knowledge. Because the knowledge arms you with strength. Bible said a man of knowledge increases strength. So what does it mean? It gives you the various ways to be able, because when you go into any purpose, you continuously solve problems. And so you need the knowledge. And people have been there. You will not be the first person. People have been there. There's a lot of write-ups. There's a lot of research in whatever you are going. You need to get the knowledge for it. And you need to get wisdom in terms of what I'm talking about, skill and all those kind of things. And that will help you fulfill your purpose and vision so you won't miss it. Yes.
That's a great one. Let me ask a question that was asked. I think I was in a panel discussion this week, and one question that somebody asked, I think it relates to what we are discussing. So we talk about skill building, we talk about mentorship, and so you are developing the skill, you need mentorship. But then in this current world of let's say who you know, in order to probably, let's say, align yourself with a particular maybe institution or personality to be able to understudy the person, how do you still sort of thrive?
Yes.
I don't know.
So you see, like for instance, Ghana, there are so many courses, programs, just using that as an example to come on the mentors. There are so many courses and programs that is not offered in Ghana. But if you have the skill, you could be able to do well. So because they are not here doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You can do proxy. You can read on it. They are not here. You know, there's not everything that you should get your mentor face to face. You can follow their books they've written. You can listen to their messages. Whoever they are, they write it in books. They write it. So you get opportunity, because sometimes you can't afford it. Let's say if your mentor is TDJs, you are not. It's impossible. But they can mentor because of books, messages, and all that. You can be able to get them. Yeah. So, and you can, if the person is, sometimes people come to me and they say, "Oh, I want you to mentor me." I said, "Okay, what do you mean?" That's not how mentorship is. Because mentorship means that you are subjecting yourself for the person to criticize you, which is difficult, but it is what is going to build you. He's going to influence you with his philosophy. Because there are many ways of being successful. You've chosen one. So he's going to use his philosophy. Let me use church, for instance. When you come to CCC, Pastor Ransford has his philosophy of church building and growth. When you go to ICGs, Pastor Ransford has his philosophy of church building and its growth. When you go to Lighthouse, Bishop that has his philosophy of church growth and building a church and growing. They have all become successful, very extremely successful. You can't say this one doesn't work. You have to make a decision that this is the person I'm going to take for a mentor. It means that you are going to work with his philosophy. But that is what many people don't want to do. He says, "Okay, I want you to be my mentor." But he's doing another thing. You get what I'm saying? So they will influence you with their philosophy. You should know that I'm choosing somebody based on his philosophy. So to assess who mentors you, those are the categories. What is the person's philosophy? What is his background? What are his persuasion? If I want to be a lecturer, I must find out there are lecturers who are Buddhists, there are lecturers who are Christians, there are lecturers who are Muslims, and all that. And I ask myself a question. Okay, do I want a Muslim lecturer to mentor me? And what do I want from him? He's going to influence me with his philosophy. Is he somebody who his philosophy is being biased towards Islam? Or is being biased towards Christian? You get what I'm saying? Yes. So you assess a lot of things because God has given you options. So you assess and then you choose which one is going to make you. You see, there's another thing I have to say. When you have a purpose, there's something we call vision metrics. There are people who can interpret what you have, but they are not necessarily going to be your mentor. So I wish I have a board. I would have shown you how it works.
Sure.
So there's a vision matrix. You have the vision. There's an interpreter of the vision. There's an implementer of a vision. There's somebody who can mentor you on the vision. They have different roles they could play. So I may have a vision. I have a purpose. Then I come to Edmond, and Edmond say, "Look, what you have, this is what it means." Sometimes that same person can be your mentor, but it doesn't mean necessarily that. Sometimes the person can do the interpretation and then can do the implementation, but he is not the mentor. I can give you an example in the Bible, Joseph. Joseph interpreted the dream of Pharaoh. And he was, the same Joseph became the implementer of the vision the man had. It's not Joseph who had a dream. It's Pharaoh who had a dream. But there's somebody who understands your vision better than you. It's there. No, I've met a lot of people who come to me, and when they tell, I understand what they are saying better than them. So, but the person might think that, no, if I bring him, no, you take my, no. I'm not interested in that. I can interpret it because of where I am, where I have been there. I've done, that is my area. I've learned it. So I can give good interpretation, but I might not be the implementer of it. So, you do that, you see who are interpreters of your vision, who are going to mentor me. Mentor means that you are going to do something we call art. I've told you, these are the principles you have to follow. But there's a craftsmanship of it. And that craftsmanship, somebody must guide you always. No, the way you are turning the nail, it's not like that. Though you have read that this is how you have to put a nail in the hole, but somebody will say, to put it in the hole, you have to turn it at 90 degrees. So those people are also there. So it is not just a simple thing. There's a matrix for it. So you have to go through that, and then you'll be able to. Yeah.
All right. Sure. Thanks a lot, Pastor. Let me go back to Edmond again, and based on what Pastor said, with regards to the traps to purpose, we listed a couple of them. We listed a couple of them. One was money, for instance. There were a whole lot. Now, let me use money as an example, for instance, in scripture, which I think most people sort of paraphrase it, some in the wrong context. They end up saying the love of money is the root of all evil, all right? And then they tend to make that look like, okay, money is evil. And then there's the second group of thoughts, which says that, okay, money answers all things. Okay. And now, looking at it from these two angles, I mean, what's your persuasion on that in line with the word of God, and also it's been, let's say, a payload to propel one's vision or one's purpose? Yeah.
Thank you so much for the question. Pastor, in his preaching, made mention that, riches, wealth are not they are not success, but they help us to get there. So I think the money aspect isn't bad. I mean, it's not bad to have it. But for instance, you have a vision to build a church. As Pastor is having that vision to build that transformation church, you need money for it. So we need to get it. So it's through that money or those things that will help us to be able to make the dream or the vision materialize. So I believe that what Pastor said, though if you don't have, it's not like failure, but it will help you to get that.
Sure. So I also get from what you are saying that in a way, no money can be greater than the vision, no matter what. I mean, you'd always need a certain amount of money to push a vision, but then in all ways, the vision would always be greater than the money. And so that's why it's a constant build-up. Okay, that's a great one. And then let me throw it back to you, Pastor. I think we've had this discussion before where we talk about money being neutral, wisdom, and then all the others. Now we're talking of money as an enabler of a vision. Now, how do we, as Christians, for instance, keep our minds on the vision, right? Still having our minds on the money as a support, but rather not going fully into looking at just the fruits or the outputs of the vision as the benchmarks rather than the vision itself.
You see, every decision every vision, every purpose have a financial implication. And so it is because of the purpose, that's why you need the money. And because of the purpose, that's why you are having the money, and some of the percentage will fund you as well. So it's not like, so people like, and it depends on what kind of purpose you have or what are you doing. So if I am a businessman and something like Microsoft or Elon Musk, who is doing electric cars, his profits, his purpose, one of the fruits of it is profit. So that profit makes him more richer than a pastor whose fruit should be souls. And so it's two different things. A pastor should have enough money to fund his purpose. And he is also a person, a tool, a vehicle. So he has to also be fueled. So he has to also get enough to make him comfortable to do what he has to do. But his goal is not to become Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is an investor. How do we rate him that he's successful? By the returns on his investments. So when he is the second, third, fourth richest man in the world, it's expected. When a pastor is a millionaire and his church he has not won souls, it's a problem. Because your key performing indicator is souls. A teacher who is teaching in the class, fruit is the children being educated, passing their exams, becoming somebody successful. He's not supposed to be selling soul below in the class. Well, it's because our system is such that it doesn't reward performance, so people end up not being able to do that. So they have to find other ways of surviving. So that is very important. Money is something that funds because it's an implication of a decision you have made. You said you want to become a politician. Politicians raise huge sums of money. They don't raise small monies. They raise huge sums of money. But majority of them might not necessarily go to them. It's going to their campaign and all that. So when you see them sitting in a car, it doesn't mean that they have that loads of money. When somebody is a missionary in the village, he's not looking at money. He's looking at souls that are won. So if he makes demand for money, it's because he wants to win souls. So that's how money is looked at. The bigger the vision, the more money you need. And in terms of business and in terms of what we do, how does you being maybe fulfilling a purpose translate at least to riches? Okay, so I want to explain that how does maybe this as a pastor, how can is it possible that I can be rich? It's true, it's possible. The bigger the vision, okay, so let's say if the pastor is paid 5%, I'm just giving you an example because every job there's a percentage that is paid to staff. So let me say it's 5% that is paid to the pastor. If the pastor is a pastor of 10 members and their total offering is 100 cedis, the 5% translates to how much? 5 cedis. So which means 5 cedis you'll be paid every month. If he has 100 people, the 5 cedi and they are making less than 10,000, the 5 cedi translates to how much? 10,000.
So that would be 500.
500 cedis. So the bigger the vision, the better you can become. American president will not be paid the same as Ghana president because of the size of the vision and the size of the population. He needs more. He puts in more effort. So I can't compare. I can't sit somewhere and say, why is it that Bishop Oyedepo has jets? And me, I don't want to your pastors know the size of his vision is what is being translated to what Bible says. He gave them the talent according to their abilities. It is not for it to be luxury. Money is not luxury. Money is a necessity. If you do it well, Bible is saying that at your right hand is long life, at your left hand is riches and honor. And in the New Testament, Bible is clear about it. Give double honor to those who teach the word. And they labor. They labor. He said they labor in the word. So they deserve to be rewarded. They deserve to be rewarded based, and we have to reward people based on the effort they are putting in. You know, if somebody is a manager of a multinational company, he won't be paid as a branch manager. They are two different people. So the branch manager cannot sit there and say, "Me, I'm a human now. No, he is making decision, multi-decision over a big institution, and that is very key. That's how money. When we talk about money, that's how it works.
So, sorry to cut through again, but let me ask a question based on one statement you made that, I mean, people should be paid based on their efforts.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking it through. Should it be based on the effort as, you know, as an input, or the output as a performance?
Yes, it's performance. So in management, in managing organization, there are three processes. There should be specific activities the person, individual, is performing. That activities must lead to performance. Then the performance must lead to reward. You don't jump the step. An activity does not result to reward. So the fact that I come and sit here and doesn't mean that I have to be paid. The activities I'm doing, other than that, all busybody people will be paid. No, but I have to, my activities must lead to specific key performing indicators. And those indicators must also come with reward. It is not written in anywhere in the Bible that a pastor should be poor. No, it's not written. It's not written anywhere in the Bible that a one working for government should be poor. No. In the university, professors are not paid the same as people who are not professors. The reason is that when a professor is going to lecture, the surety of the content is that he has done a lot of work before getting there. The impact is different than somebody who is just having undergraduate. Yeah, so that is how it works. In every institution, that is the cycle it moves on. Activities must lead to performance, performance must lead to reward. So purpose must be rewarded. But there is an activity of the purpose that must lead you to fulfill the purpose. Then there should be a reward for it.
Sure. That's a great one, Pastor. Let me throw the other question back to Edmond. So, based on where Pastor ended, activities are supposed to definitely lead to performance. That's the final thing. Now, we take a country system, or let's say Ghana as, a country, and then we have, especially, let's say, government workers who tend to say, okay, I think you've heard this cliche statement that, okay, you get it. Which translates, for the sake of those who are not, native Twi speakers, or those who don't speak Twi, translates into saying, oh, there's a government work. You don't need to, kill yourself for it. Definitely you get your money. Now, do you trust that such a system would be effectively a rewarding system and would allow people to really function? And don't you think that is a reason for which, let's say, the whole national system as a unit is suffering, and even it's leading or coming into the church, because the same habits you are building out there, which you are now bringing into the house of God? Yes. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a very good question. Yeah, in general, I've heard people saying that, in the end, I'm going to get my pay, so there's no need to kill myself for it. And I think it depends on the management, how those at the top supervise those down there. For instance, I can't come into your institution and, I'll see people behaving that way, but I can't act. But I believe that when management descend from their chair to always supervise those they've instructed to work, I think those lackadaisical behavior of theirs will come to a stop. For instance, you go to a bank, and the bank is supposed to start like 8. When you go to the teller, it's there that the teller will be putting the phone here, fixing this and that. No, it's expected that 8. So I come to your office, that 8, you are serving me. That's not the time for you to clean around and, but before you realize 15 minutes or those are gone. So I think we should have, as Pastor preached the last time, that we should have the mind to build. when we have that mind to build, I believe our nation will be restored.
Okay.
Amen.
And then also to add a little bit to it, in fact, Bible says that see a man diligent in his work,
Yeah.
who will stand before kings. And so if whatever role you are functioning in, this is just to add up, whatever role you are functioning is, I mean, you're functioning in probably as a government worker, and then you're not treating it as though one that requires competence from you, sort of performance from you, then it also kills the ability to even innovate.
Yeah.
And in the end, it would come back to affect you yourself, because
Exactly.
you are building a system that will come back to haunt you.
Exactly.
I don't know if Pastor you would
It's
want to
true,
top up.
it's true. For any system that is not doing well, it's basically because it's not a performing system. You know, if you are paid because of you showed up at work, and at the end of the month you were paid, what is the motivation? If you are paid, you are promoted based on the number of years you have been in the service. What is the all you have to do is to make sure you are in the job till the year is up. You see, so that has been the problem of most African countries. We are rewarding people who are not performing, so we are not productive. So, but when we change our system and we say people are promoted by merit, your performance, it will change. If politicians are elected based on the roads they've done, based on the schools they've built, based on how their communities are good, things will change. It will speed up. Because something like politics, people react towards on what their knowledge and understanding, their perception of the people. You know, but if we change the whole system and say, before you be elected, do something for us to know that this is your works, so that we believe what you are saying. Jesus said, if you don't believe what I'm saying, look at my works. Some people don't have works at all. So they will say a lot of things. When they go there, they realize they can't do it. It is very important if we are able to build that and have that mentality of performance. And so it works in both ways. If a system that is not a performing system, it will make you poor. It won't be productive. If the system is also a performing system and it's not a rewarding system, it makes the system weak again. Because if you don't reward, people who are also not doing it will think that even if I perform, it won't be rewarded. There's a motivation theory that is called Herzberg's two-factor theory in motivation. That is talking about two things that make people do what they do. One of them is, we call it hygiene factor, the maintenance factor. Reward is part, benefits, supervision, salary, career advancement. They are looking at that because the person, you have to keep the person to do what he has to do. If you want to keep like this Premiership they play, why is it that in UK they all started the same thing? If you look at FA Cup, the first FA Cup, they were not even wearing shoes. They were not even wearing boots. So it has started, but how have they been able to make this very successful? Because of reward. Every year they are rewarding best players every year, and they give them money in addition. They pay them weekly, and so every player knows that, look, if I do well, I'll be successful. In Ghana, you know that even if you do well, you won't be successful. Like it's when I say success here, I mean reward. Yeah, but so if I do well, I won't be rewarded. I don't think so. That's how things should be. Even if you're a pastor and you are performing, you should be rewarded. So that the person, people who are watching, will say that, okay, if I perform, I'll be rewarded. But that is not happening in the country. So that's not happening in our communities. People do things, they go free. People do things, they are not rewarded. So we are all in the middle. And we are trying. But I think we can start from somewhere, from our own small way, from our own organization. And I think that people will be able to do well in what they are doing.
All right, so people of God, you're still with us. It's still application moment. If you have any questions, just send them in and it would be addressed in the same episode or subsequent episodes.
I think that he said he had a lot of questions.
Right.
So
Okay,
you ask
so-
a question, yeah.
Yes, so then, Mr. Edmond, if you have a question for Pastor, you could.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor. In your statements, in one of your statements, you made mention that finding your purpose is the beginning of your success. I wanted you to.
Yeah, because you see, success is a journey. You don't get one time of success. Like you hit one success and that is all. You have to continuously be successful. Yeah. So what I mean here is that you are going to solve a lot of problems, and you have to continuously overcome problems. You overcome. In school, you have to pass a lot of exams to get to PhD. If you feel you won't get to where you will be able to. That's how life is. There are a lot of problems that are going to come in your way. So the number one path, what makes you to start your journey of success is to find your purpose. That's why I said that if you are driving slow on the right path, you know definitely you will get to your destination. If I'm going to Accra and I know this is the path to Accra, I'm very certain that is the path to Accra, and I'm even going with bicycle, I know that one day I'll get there. But if I'm on a top speed, going on the wrong direction, no matter how fast I go, I'm going on the wrong direction. So once I found my purpose, I have begun a journey of success. So the rest is left to posterity. I'm going to solve problems and solve problems and solve problems. So we can rate. That's why in the world everybody is successful. For me, in that what I mean is that there's a success somebody has chopped. Maybe you were able to pass your BC, but you didn't pass SS. You've been able to make it to SS. It's a success. So we can look at that, and then you can use that as a springboard move up. But the initial is you finding purpose. Proverbs put it in a nice way. He said, wisdom is the principal thing. In all you're getting, get wisdom. He said, with wisdom, a house is built. Why did he say wisdom is the principal? Because you need that first. You need to find purpose. And once you find your purpose, all other things will fall in place. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you have any other follow-up question, Edward?
Pastor, and also in your statement, you made mention of, you made mention that you'll be remembered because of your purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That one too.
Yes. People are not remembered because of the money they had. Martin Luther King Jr. is remembered because of civil rights, equality in America. He's been remembered. We can remember who else? Wright brothers for the plane they invented. We remember Kwame Nkrumah for getting the independence for us. We remember what people have done. You see, in Ghana, the problem with our corruption is that we only chop the money, we don't fulfill purposes. So people always remember that our money has been chopped.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, but if they had done the roads, they have built the railways, they've built the things, nobody will remember you chopped their money. If you take somebody's contract and you didn't do it and you chop the money, he will always remember that you chopped the money. He will never remember you for the work you've done. So if you are able to fulfill a purpose, because money is a reward system. You do something, you are rewarded for it. And so how do I remember you for money? How? Unless we remember that you did Isakawa or did something and you got that. But the purpose is what people will remember you for. Yes. We remember John Wesley up to date. Why? Because we remember him for the movement he did for the Methodist Church, the movement of charismatic. We remember Charles Wesley for the hymns he wrote. We are remembered Pastor Ransford because of. We will always remember him because of CCC. People, Marcuse, is it Marcuse? Marcuse is Herbalife. Makion, Pentecost. Marcuse is Herbalife. And so these are all people who they are remembered for what they did. So that is why the mandate upon your life is what will be remembered, not the yes.
Okay. All right, so all too soon we've come to the end of today's session. but we wouldn't just leave it like that. I know the CCC KCM branch has an initiative which is expand, and I would like Pastor Emmanuel Abaje, since he's here, to expand more on it. So you would want you to expand more on expand. Sure.
Right, so expand is coming up again. The first time we did was 2019 because of coronavirus. We couldn't do, and expand this time around. We are targeting shaping vision, empowering leadership, raising committed Christians. This we are treating the topic influencing the world through value creation, or inheriting the earth through value creation. 2 reasons God brought us on this earth. We are on this earth as Christians. 1 is to fulfill His kingdom, to seek His kingdom, and fulfill His purpose spiritually. It's very important, and that is a mandate for every Christian. Number 2, whilst we are on this earth, we need to add value to this earth. Christians must participate in the value creation. We have to get inventors, we have to get entrepreneurs, we have to get politicians, we have to get all kinds of people participating, because that's how we influence. He who has the gold makes the rules, golden rules. If you are not producing cars, how can you tell us, how can you impact or contribute in road policies? Because road policies, they look at how cars are made and the kind of available issues that are there. So expand is going to happen. It's a citywide program. We are gathering people from everywhere. It's starting from 8th to 12th of September. On Saturday 11th, we are going to have a leadership training for business people, pastors, leaders of organization, and all that. And we are, this time, Pastor Joshua is coming again. Came 2019. He's coming again. He's an awesome man. He has the word. He's widely exposed. And we are going to discuss a lot of things. And myself, I'm speaking. So we have from Wednesday 8th to Sunday 12th. Sunday is going to be our regular service. Saturday is going to be a leadership seminar. So keep your tabs on all these things, and we are going to want you to join us, and so you also receive the impact that is going to happen.
Okay, but then the month again, you said 8 to 12 of September.
Yes.
So 8 to 12 September 2021. You have nowhere else to be. You want to be in the house of God. You want to be in CCC KCM. That's a live event center, which is opposite Atland, I believe. And this would be, it's going to be an awesome time. It's going to be one that you would really love to be there. And definitely, as the theme suggests, your value is going to go a top notch. God bless you for your time, for sticking and staying with us. And we trust that we'll see you again next week to have another amazing session of the application moment. And so on this note, we'd like to say a big thank you to Mr. Edmond Shepherdson, NG, and then also to Pastor Emmanuel Abaje. God bless you for your time, for your kind words. It's been an eye-opener with all of you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
All right, so people of God, all too soon we've come to the end. Thank you, and hope to see you again next week. Bye-bye.